Welcome to the IMTS 2022 stream. We're here, as you can see, on the Lyndex-Nikken stand, and we've got 60 minutes of fantastic technology to show you. We're going to be looking at presetting, SK tooling, brand new products from Lyndex-Nikken, which I can't tell you about until we show you and do the grand reveal. But first of all, I'm here with Tom Dang, the Vice President of Lyndex-Nikken. Tom, for those who don't know, I'm sure Lyndex-Nikken are huge in the market, but for those who don't know who Lyndex-Nikken are, what can you offer your customers?
Well, Roland, welcome to Lyndex-Nikken booth.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
IMTS 2022. For those who haven't seen our booth yet, this year in IMTS 2022, we're going to do a little bit of a trifecta where productivity, efficiency, and future will be speaking to our customer coming through this pipeline, because it's all about a cycle of business that they're experiencing, especially in this current economic condition. Yes.
There are a lot of changes happening, material costs, and we can't work the same way we've been working for the past 30 years. As well as that's been working so far, times change, and I guess productivity, efficiency, and automation are the words on everybody's lips. Let's now move on to the people who do know Lyndex-Nikken. What do you think might, I was going to say, the last IMTS was 2018. What do you think might surprise people, and what's changed at Lyndex-Nikken for the people who do know who you guys are?
Well, we've grown. Since 2018, we invested into newer product. We understand the market has shifted, and machining capacity have changed. People are looking for either a more better way to enhance the equipment that they have through efficiency, or looking for equipment that will take that new purchase of the capital and make it the maximum performance it can do.
Absolutely, because we all know that it's not just the machine tool that you will invest in. There is everything else, the tooling packages, the rotary tables, the automation, even the presetting, the machine tool accessories. People think it's just the machine tool and then everything else is a second choice. No, in my opinion, you should flip that. Almost you should focus on the tooling package, the process itself, before you even look at the machine tool.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you have to understand, accessory to the machine tool is very critical. You don't want to buy a Porsche and then go somewhere else to get your tire. It has to complement each other, right? So accessory and that investment is very critical. It's almost a coupling to one another.
Absolutely, and what about the heritage of Lyndex-Nikken? They've got a long heritage. We were just talking about, obviously, let's not go into too much detail. Right. It's absolutely fascinating. Then what heritage does Lyndex-Nikken have that allows you to provide the Porsche accessories?
Well, we've been doing this for over 50 years. We've seen the progression, we've seen the changes, and we're able to, I wouldn't say predict the future, but being in the market for so long and in touch with our user bases, we know where the pivoting point is. Maybe it's 6 months from now, or even 5 years from now. And our job is to prepare that so that we can lockstep our growth with our customer requirement. Yeah?
Absolutely, and being here for at least 50 years, you must have known the 70s, and we're seeing similar times to those right now.
Keep in mind, Warren, I haven't been here 50 years. I'm only 49. I'm just kidding, right?
Oh, okay, no, there we go. You're always going to call me out on...
I'm trying to keep my ages here. Yeah, we've been... Lindex started out as Lindex. We make the standard product like an R8, 5C, and stuff like that. As the Lindex is merged with Nikken, where in Japan, Nikken is a high-performance product, that accelerates us from a standard commodity item into a high performance.
Okay, and let's talk about what people can be excited about to look at on the stream now. What are they going to be looking at, and why have you chosen these things to show?
Well, think about this. In every business cycle, you either have productivity, efficiency, or you're looking for the future. How do I grow my company, right? So when you look at this booth, you're coming down to, I would say, like a little golden path. And on the left side, we're going to focus on productivity, where if you just made a nice investment in a high-performance capital equipment, we can show you how to complement that. On the efficiency side, where you're saying, you know what, I want to have my existing spindle do more for me. We have product for that. And then we all know the current economic condition. We all know the strains of labor force. Down the golden path, we'll have a future product for you to grow with, which is what we call a job shop automation.
Brilliant. So productivity, efficiency, and automation. If you're interested, keep watching the stream. Those are all going to be coming up. If you're in IMTS, come to the West 3 building. Come see we are streaming live. Come watch us stream live. If you're watching, ask us any questions. If you've got questions for Tom, he's going to be on a little bit later, as well as this part here. We're going to be talking to loads of people about presetting. Ask questions about that. If you need to, make sure you ask questions on the stream and keep watching. Let's go and talk about first. So we're going to go to, in my opinion, knowing a little bit about Nikken. This is your heritage. This is the strength. This is the Japanese engineering expertise that Nikken has.
Yeah, you know, our founders started making manual rotary table almost 50 years ago, even more than that, right? We started out with the philosophy of durability, and that continued even though we have spreading our product down to a much wider range, anything from a fourth axis to a fifth axis to a horizontal capability. But we maintain one thing very simple: durability.
Durability. And on that note, Tom, if you come this way, come this way, we're going to talk about the internals of the rotary tables here, which are, these designs, they've changed, you've optimized, but these designs have been proven, battle tested for a long time.
Yes.
What is this, Tom?
Well, think about this. You know, a rotary table, to put in a layman term, it's just a gearbox, right? When the word gear come in play, well, the gear is probably the superstar of the component.
Absolutely, and we're looking at a worm screw here and a worm wheel.
Yes, and the difference between our design and everyone else's design for decades is that everyone start out with brass.
Okay, so we've got a brass worm wheel here.
Yes, and then we got Nikken, which is using iron nitride. So they using steel. They put an iron nitriding process where it gives you a hardness of over 60 Rockwell, and the texture has some lubricity to it, right? So it put less stress on the motor to try to rotate a heavy wood piece. An example I can show you later on over there. But that's always been our case. You know, today people talking about fast. Lyndex-Nikken always want to stay with durability because we want a balance between fast and durability, right? Let me give you a quick example. If someone say, well, I'm 44 RPM, and someone say, well, I'm 84 RPM, I can double that. Did you know in an indexing where you have stop and go, XL, decel, you're really saving just a quarter of a second.
Yeah, because you got to accelerate up to speed, then you're at the 84 RPM, then you've got to decel again.
You got to clamp and unclamp the
which has a fixed timing as well.
Exactly. So you're only gaining a quarter of a second, but yet what are you doing? You know what they say, right? Speed kill. So with a soft material like this, and you're constantly excelling and decelling, you're going to wear out the gear.
And we can see there's marks in here where the rotary table has been damaged from in the soft bronze phosphor bronze material.
You will need to service this thing more. The interval would be much more than something like this.
So why is longevity important for someone who's invested in a high-spec machine tool? Why can't they just buy a more budget rotary table? Why do they need an iron nitrided worm wheel?
Because once you have a rotary table and you rely upon it to machine your part, downtime become a huge issue. Something like this, once we set the parameter, the grid shift, and the compensation, it can run for years with repeatability.
Okay, running for years, and this technology is in every rotary table we see. Go and have a quick look at all the rotary tables we've got around here. Yes. That carbide technology and iron nitriding is in every single rotary table here.
Yes, the iron nitrided worm and the iron nitrided worm screw and the wheel are in the rotary table less than 12-inch. More than 12-inch, we would then change to carbide.
Carbide, which is even more specialist material.
Exactly.
Okay, let's have a little walk around as you're talking. Let's go and see some more products. Let's keep walking around. So we're talking carbide worm for the larger rotary tables as well. And then it's not just fourth axis, you do 5-axis rotary table.
And here you can see an example of co-marketing, right? We talk about the solution for our customer. We don't just sell a product, we sell a solution. So having co-marketing company that provides a complete solution to walk down the aisle with us to give the customer the opportunity to see his vision come through completely, and not having to go to one party for the rotary table, another party for the clamping element. This is a one-stop shop.
Absolutely, and you get so much more flexibility when you have the option for a rotary table of the same caliber of the high-spec machine tool you're going to be going for. It means you can choose a 3-axis machine tool, pay a little bit more, get a fantastic machine tool, and then put a fantastic rotary table on it.
Well, you are as strong as your weakest link.
Let's keep looking at the rest of your products. Let's keep going.
Yes, and again, if you want speed, don't use gear. Use a direct drive motor, right? And this is one of our solutions called direct drive motor.
And inside here, you see, rather than having a worm wheel in here, what do we have?
We have a motor, actual motor itself, right? So this eliminates the backlash, give you the RPM you want. Now, if you really want speed, go here. Don't use a gearbox.
Because you're just getting kind of the worst of both worlds.
Right. And you'll be in the middle of nowhere, right? This, though, is very limited to the scope of work.
And we can see an application up here of a direct drive motor. What's happening here?
Well, if you're an impeller manufacturer and you have a certain speed that required for surface finish, the direct drive will help you. Or certain machining where you constantly color back and forth, the backlash is eliminated by using direct drive.
Absolutely. And we've got a double pot here for a more specialist double spindle machine tool.
Yes. Well, you know, we talk about automation being down the golden path, right? Automation is so important today where part can be clamped and put onto and using two table to maximize the eliminate the two change time. So you can do quite a bit of product with this. This particular one have rotary joint, so you can load a fixture on here and clamp the whole thing down on this table.
And I see, so the rotary joint, the double spindle, we're not talking just a budget machine tool. These are for really high specification machines that you want to put a high spec.
Yes, production environment and very specific part that we can work with machine tool dealer and putting one of these, do a turnkey, right? And provide a complete solution again. Again, the focus here is us collaborating with the key people so that we can see the customer vision through.
Absolutely. It's not just a product service. Why do you need to offer the engineering service as well? What does that allow your customers to achieve rather than having to go through a catalog themselves?
Well, because simply put, the customer today wants a one-stop shop. He wants someone to spearhead his project and take responsibility for that, whether that be the machine tool dealer or us, right? So if he's going to buy a machine tool, he just doesn't want to buy it just so he can run it on a vise. If he have a specific needs, he's going to call a single person and say, I want you to work with each one of these elements, pull it all together for me, and give me a one-stop shopping solution.
Great. So if you're interested in a one-stop shop built on absolute top-notch Japanese heritage, we've also got a comment coming in, I think, from the stream. Ask some questions if you want Tom to answer them, or any of the engineers here at Lyndex-Nikken. Make sure you keep watching the stream. My questions haven't loaded. Oh, we've got great points, Tom and Rowan. Oh, I got a comment from Jack Varley. Thank you very much, Jack. I appreciate that, mate. I did my apprenticeship with Jack at Nikken Europe for a long time ago. Thank you very much, Jack. Over to Tony. He's going to do a talk test on SK versus ER talk test.
Dang! I'm with my buddies Duke and Johnny Dang, and we're going to talk about the 4 major principles of high-speed machining, a topic I absolutely love. Duke, how we doing? Let's talk about it, brother.
Yeah, thank you. So machine nowadays come very accurate and spindle spin very fast. So the 4 elements for high-speed machining is rigidity, balance, accuracy, and rigidity. Now today we're going to find out the popular ER32, will that be up to the task, or is it the SK holders? Okay, so right now we're going to have Johnny do the torque test to prove the gripping force. Okay, first of all, he's going to tight.
Johnny does look pretty strong. I think he can handle this torque test.
So both wrenches are set at the same setting torque. So he's going to torque that, and then he's going to torque this the same. Yep. Here we go. Let me do this.
Torque that for you?
Yep.
Go ahead, hand that over here. I got you. How's it going, Tony?
Johnny, I know how much you love a microphone. I'm going to just stick this in front of your face real quick. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Hey, guys.
Excellent, excellent.
So both are now tying at the same 70 foot-pounds. Okay, so now he's going to apply the meter wrench onto this hex, and he's going to pull that wrench, and focusing on the meter here, let's find out how much foot-pound does it take to spin that pin.
So, Duke, as we're watching this, you're explaining the torque test, you're explaining what's going on. What are we actually showing the customer that helps them either succeed or fail when it comes to this pressure we're applying?
We are showing them that how much each type of collet chuck can hang on to the end mill before it slips, because the more you hang on to it, the more you can force, the more you can cut.
It's all about that rigidity, and if I can hang on, I can go deeper, I can go faster, and in doing so, I'm going to lower my cycle times. All that goes along with it, right?
Why are you interviewing me? This man knows everything already. Okay, so what are we at?
Over 100 foot-pounds.
Over 100 foot-pounds, okay?
That's right.
All right, so now he's going to reset it to 0, and he's going to try to find out how foot-pound this one will take to slip the pin.
You know what else I like about rigidity while Johnny's doing that for us is we get longer tool life if we have that better rigidity. And how much money does that save us on a consumable product?
Okay, we'll talk about that. Here we go. What do we got there, Johnny?
About 55 foot-pounds.
55 foot-pounds, okay? So 150, so that's twice the gripping force, okay? So this is what we did on YouTube, and anybody can go on YouTube and type in SK versus ER, and you will see this test cut, okay? Now, I want you to hear the ER cut first, okay? That's the sound you don't want to hear.
Okay,
That's
okay.
high-pitched noise. That's because of the vibration. Okay. Now you will see the SK cut, and I want you to listen to the sound. The only sound you hear is the air blast. You don't hear that high-pitched noise, right? Because there's no vibration. Okay. Again, you go on YouTube and watch this video.
So vibration, rigidity, these are so very important. And I know, Duke, that you want to slide over to this table and talk about some components here, but before we do, I think you have something you want to talk about here as well.
Yeah.
And we're having some comments come in, which I'm going to address in just a minute, guys. Don't worry. Okay. But we're going to finish talking about this here with Duke before sliding over to the next table, and I'll get to you next.
Okay, so we talk about gripping force. Now we're talking about rigidity, okay? Look, how do we get more rigidity than the ER? Look at the collet. The SK collet, all the full tapers are inside of the holder. So my end mill is inside of the holder. I get the full support of the body of the chuck. Whereas, as you can see, ER hanging out of the holder that much. So my end mill is actually only a partial holding on by the holder. That's what the rigidity difference is. Okay. One more thing, real quick. Okay, I want you to hear this. This is what you do to the ER holder every day. So you do this to the collet and the nut. They grind each other days in and day out. The accuracy, whatever the accuracy you get from the day 1, on the day 10 is gone.
That also makes sense. Yes, I appreciate that very much in helping the audience understand. What else do we have?
Okay, so since this became known to the market, it becomes so popular. The people who try this and use this, a lot of them don't want to go back to ER. And come by popular demand, people say, why don't you put SK into turning? Right, because at the beginning, we only focusing on milling. So right now, as you can see, our live tool also incorporate the SK gripping force. So people with turning center now can cut even better than before.
Back by popular demand, right?
Yes, yep. And then, so we have another table over there that we have an array of SK holder with different length, different design. Maybe, you know, you can show them over there.
Yes, we're going to send it over there in just a second. Let's answer a couple of these comments. I love Lindex-Nikken products, highest quality out there from YouTube. Lindex-Nikken, a great partner with us at Methods Machine Tools. Well done there, Methods. Head to their booth and see how we collaborate on aerospace parts made on Yazda. John Starr, you are amazing. All right, with that being said, we're going to send it over to Rowan to see everything we were just talking about over on the other piece of the booth.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm looking at some chips here that have got some feathering on them. And if you ever had this issue where you've got some steel swarf, and look at that, there's loads of feathering, there's loads of, I don't know if you can quite see that, but there's loads of feathering on these, there's loads of vibration in this process. Matt, how do you get rid of vibration in a process?
Yeah, so basically our SK collet chuck gives you less run out and more clamping force. So the less run out, I'm cutting with all of my flutes. So a lot of times in an ER style holder or a side lock end mill, your tool's running out and you're cutting with one flute. So that tool's bouncing and vibrating.
But we've been running, I mean, people have been running with ER collet chucks for a long time.
Yep.
Why should they move to SK?
So again, you're going to get longer tool life out of an SK with your run out. I've got more gripping force so I can feed faster. So I'm actually machining faster and increasing my tool life, getting better surface finish. If you take a look here at this part.
Let's have a quick look at the demo here.
Okay, so you can see that we've ran with an ER and you can see chatter and vibration on the floor and the wall. And the SK, a nice smooth finish.
It's a nice clean finish on the bottom of the demo here.
And the sidewall, correct.
Okay, and is it just a vibration thing? I mean, what happens to the longevity of your tools? It's not just the effect on the part, is it?
No, absolutely not. And a lot of times, you know, we work off of return on investment on these holders. And what I mean by that is the cost savings that you'll get from using an SK holder.
I think they go in absolutely massive sizes. Get a quick look at those huge sizes in the SKs.
Yep, absolutely. So we have several different spindle connections. HSK 100A 63. We have CAT 50, 40, NBT, dual contact holders.
So no matter what machine tool people, your customers have got, then they know they can get an SK solution. But
Absolutely.
what problems? Like, let's imagine there's someone watching this stream and they've got some problems with their machine tools. They're not using your holders. What kind of pain points are they going to be looking at every day? What are they going to be coming in and going, oh, that part's got this, or my tool's just done this, or what problems are they going to be seeing, and what can you offer them?
Yeah, well, one of the problems they're going to see is low productivity, because if I'm running a lesser tool holder, I can't run the feeds and speeds of today's tooling. Right, so my cycle time is increased because I've got to slow the machine down, right, to adapt for the tool holder itself. So
Can you imagine if you've invested in a massive machine tool, you don't want to start slowing it down?
No, absolutely not. So give you more productivity out of your tool. You'll be able to push it faster and harder, better surface finishes.
Do you think then there's been huge dramatic improvements in the cutting tool technology nowadays? I mean, over the past 25 years.
Absolutely.
You compare the technology 25 years ago to now, you can run so much faster.
Yeah.
Do you think people in the US and maybe worldwide are being held back by their constant use of ER chucks and slightly lesser tool holders?
Absolutely, yes. And you'll have, your tooling manufacturers will come in and say, hey, I got this great end mill, multi-flute, let's run it on your machine. You're running in an inexpensive side lock ER holder, you're not going to get the performance out of it.
Okay, and do you think that, I guess that means there's probably a lot of productivity left to be unlocked in the US and worldwide, because people are investing in really good machine tools.
Yes.
And why do you think sometimes tooling and other machine tool accessories is an afterthought?
I'm really not sure about that, but I can tell you machining, period, work holding, how you're going to hold the piece, and your tool holding. Have any machine tool manufacturer, if those two are weak links, you've got a weak process.
There's no point in having a rigid casting if you're not holding the part rigidly.
No, or the tool.
Exactly. And let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the range. So we've seen the huge SK2. You've got a big SK. Is that SK32 or 25?
Yes, SK25 we go up to.
And then we come over here and we see the tiny little back end.
Yes, yep. And then we have smooth nut for high-speed machining, balance.
Okay, so
and
what kind
some
of
our products are slotted, so those would be lower RPM but still balanced.
And when people buy these high spec machine tools that are getting cheaper, well, recently things have been getting more expensive, but over time things get cheaper, and people can afford 20,000 RPM, 25,000 RPM. What should they be thinking about when they start looking at a catalog and see those RPMs?
Yeah, smooth nut, balanced holders.
So they'd be focusing on smooth nuts, balance holders, and we've not even touched on, you can now get, this is live tooling in a lathe.
And, where on your machining center, you're trying to get more gripping force, less run out, more productivity, I've got it in the live tool as well. Multi-output.
So people they've been using SK machine, they've been using your SK holders in their milling machines, they need to start using them in their lathes as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And now, thanks for watching the stream, guys. If you've got any questions, let us know. We've had some fantastic comments so far. If you want to have your say, get your questions in right now. We've got loads coming up. We've got presets with Tony in a second. We've got automation later. We've got loads. Even new products are going to be revealed by Tom, the Vice President himself. So keep watching. Over to Tony on presetting.
It's all about that bass, no treble. Yeah, you know what that means? It means granite basses that no one else in the industry does, right, Lucho?
Exactly, that's what we do at Lyndex-Nikken. We are the only tool presetter manufacturer to use natural granite for the base and the column of our presetters. We are showing here a full line of our presetters, actually 6 machines, starting from the 46 LA, that is the machine right next to us, with autofocus function, 400 by 600 millimeter in traveling measuring range. And then...
Well, a lot of these are quite similar, but the granite base is in all of them, right, Lucho? And so when we're looking at these, the middle one here is actually your best seller. So let's talk about some of the differences from left to right to center, because one has 3 cameras, but they all have the granite base, and this is your medium range #1 seller. Let's get into that meat and potatoes, as we like to call it in America.
That's exactly what you were saying. The Atro 6A is the most common machine today in the US. Has a basic function. It's very simple to use, very hands-on right away, full interchangeable spindle, autofocus function, and all, as you were mentioning, all of our presetters from the starting points to the top level have all granite base and column. This unit here, it's very simple to use, it's user-friendly. The other two units are more, a little bit more sophisticated software-wise, more higher resolution cameras. The one in the back there, the TW, has actually 3 cameras for tool manufacturer and tool regrinder, where we have the ability to see the tool from the top and from the side as well. Out of focus function as well here. So very simple to use, but able to do what manufacturer tools need to measure straight away. Of course, all the machines have inspection function, so we can actually see the status of the cutting edge too. With the TW, we are able to do reverse engineering, so recreate the drawing starting from the actual tool. And this is very useful when we're talking about tool manufacturer and tool regrinder, of course.
Well, you know this technology quite well, but for the audience who's watching, you know, we have this one that's very, very popular. I'd imagine because it comes with a Lyndex-Nikken name on it, which knows quality, but it comes with a great price point. But let's explain just real quickly about, okay, 1 camera versus 3 cameras. Why is 3 cameras a really brilliant upgrade?
It's the advantage to see the tool from the side, so we can measure things that we're not able to measure with 1 camera. For example, the helix or the rake angle, the cutting angles on the tool. These are unique features that you can see only from the side or from the top of the tool. So that's what makes these kind of presetters really useful for tool manufacturer, tool regrinder, or customer that use a lot of special tools, form tools, these kind of features that needs to be measured then on the tool itself.
So it's really about getting that ultimate precision. But these 3 machines aren't the only ones you have. You actually have a couple more over here that we want to take a look at. We have this entry-level machine here that has really high-quality capabilities also, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes. 346V+, that's the machine with vacuum clamping to ensure the repeatability of the measurement on Z value mainly. Full manual machine, very simple to use. A lot of hands-on features, capability to post-process, create tool lists and post-process those directly in the machine language and transfer that to the NC directly.
So this is the entry level for a nice shop. But if someone's getting started, I got a lot of friends right now that are running garage shops, 1 machine, 2 machines, 3 machines. I mean, they're really just getting started, and they know that they need to get one of these. They know that their customers want precision. Is there even a starter one for these guys as well?
We do have a smaller unit, smaller and in size, but actually really capable to do exactly the same things. X and Z value, T numbers, 1 angle, 1 radius. Up to 9 machines we can manage with this unit. And the very interesting things of this is for sure the price, because at $8,500 we can have this unit in the US market.
$8,500 only, up to 9 machines, which I would argue most smaller shops are going to max out before they're going to want to move into one of the other ones anyway. So we have just a couple of minutes left. I want to talk about this beautiful, beautiful machine right behind my cameraman here. I mean, this thing is bigger than all the rest of them. And I'm a machine guy, so it looks sexy to me. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
That's the top of the range that we have. It's not only a presetter in this case. We have TP32, our tool management software, integrated into the machine directly. So this is more for the two-room guys, where you can manage the assembling of the tool, the different components, track down where your tools are into the workshop or in the tool crib. So it's really a full CN machine, so X, Z, and C axis controlled. Of course, you need to program it. The advantage of that is to program it. It's very, very simple. It's user-friendly. It's something that everybody can do in a workshop. It takes really minimum training to learn that and to operate a machine.
Absolutely perfect, Lucho. You've been amazing. We're now going to send this over to my brother, Joe Reynolds.
Thank you so much, Tony. Fascinating so far, and it's going to get even better. I'm here with the king of automation, Jason himself. Jason, talk us through this first automation cell, please.
Absolutely. So what you're looking at behind me is the tender. This is the smaller version. We have 60 pieces of tooling on there that'll provide you a queue. 60 pieces will load your part in and out of the machine. It's really meant to be that extra set of hands for the user.
So when we talk about automation, there's this misconception, I need 10,000 parts. That's not the case anymore, is it?
That's correct. We're really focused on solving the high mix, low volume equation here. So many shop owners now are dealing with how do I get from the end of my day to the next day when I got a 4-piece run of this and 5 of that and 20 of that and so on.
And since COVID, there's a big labour shortage as well, isn't there?
Massive labor shortage, massive, and everybody's scrambling. How do I get this done? Who can help me? What do I have to do?
And for the CNC machine shop owners watching and programmers, and they're a bit scared about programming the robot, they don't need to be, do they?
That's correct. So this comes pre-canned. So all the points are taught. Everything is handled for you. So when you actually make a program on this system, you're actually selecting pictures, identifying the pallets and the shelves that you want to actually move.
And when we talk about automation, this appears to be a 4th axis Martin's Rotary on there. It doesn't need to be, does it? It can be a 3-axis machine, it could be a 5-axis simultaneous machine.
It is really agnostic to the machine tool, so we can do anything with a CNC control on it. It can go flat on the table, it can go on a trunnion plate as you see here, or it can go on a 5th axis.
And this is getting more and more important, is it, as machine shops look to become more and more cost effective?
They have to find a way to do more with less.
Brilliant. And this other one behind us, a similar theme, but slightly different.
Yeah, so this one is obviously a little bit larger, and we offer more queue time here, 144 6x6 pallets. And we have some other features here that we can add additional technology such as camera systems, additional in-between processes, and so on.
So you've got all those pallets. What happens if my volumes are really low, maybe 5, 6, 20 batches?
It works out really well, to be honest, because we can put your Op10 on say 5 pallets, and then we look at the total time it takes to operate, the 5 to 10 pallets, and then we'll find a bigger pallet, put them all on there, and we'll balance the load.
And this is becoming more important, like I've just said. That when we look at this stand, it's full of technology. We're looking to become more efficient, aren't we? Improve our quality. We need that 2nd and 3rd shift.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. It's the only way we get through.
Okay, when we look at these two fantastic solutions, but what happens if the people watching are saying I've got smaller components or maybe I've got larger components? Are there other solutions as well?
There are other solutions in the works for the larger components. We have different tower structures, different robots. We can actually change out the robot to collaborative robot as well.
Okay, and robots are important, the towers are important, your rotary is important, but we've got to hold the component as well. So let's go and take a look at some of your partner pieces here.
So we're very fortunate to have developed some great partnerships with a whole bunch of different work holding companies, such as 5th Axis, Shunk, Juergens, Mighty Byte, SMW. There's all kind of different opportunities there to fit the application.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point, isn't it? All these are world-class brands, but they're not the best at everything. You do need to pick the best for that particular application.
Yeah, what fits the application.
So just quickly, before we run out of time, just talk us through this 5th axis solution here.
Yeah, so if you really want to get into a highly dense solution that has accessibility on multiple sides, you notice we have roughly a 15-degree angle. Gives you great access in the 5-axis market. So you could have a whole bunch of parts on here, one part on here. The flexibility is amazing.
There we are. Thank you so much. This is just full of technology, and there's even more to come. We're going over to Rowan, who's going to be talking about something new.
And now for the grand reveal, I'm here with Tom. We're here at the Millturn area. Which of these products are the brand new products? Please let me know.
Well, they're all brand new to us, right? This particular table here focuses on the new Millturn machine that just about every machine tool builder is offering. The Millturn technology allows you to do a very complex part in one operation. And one of the connections that they tend to use is the polygon taper. Okay, so in that case, what you have now is a combination of turning tool plus milling tool all in one.
And the things with the Millturn components, they're big round parts, they've got deep hole boards, there's lots of access issues.
Yes.
And can you talk to me a little bit about the construction of these polygon systems here and how they work?
Yeah, let me break this down in the turning, milling, and then talk about the extension. Is that okay? So over here you have many of the polygon block tooling for square 2-bit, and then you got a lot of OD turning option here. And then throughout you can see on the perimeter, we have various different style of holder that is designed for milling capability.
And we're looking at the well-known Nikken multi-locks,
Yes.
the SKs, the mini-minis, but on the back end, which is a polygon system.
Yes, on the back end is a polygon system. So for an example, polygon system is a combination machine, right? So sometimes you need short, sometimes you need long. So in conjunction to offering the polygon taper in a shrink fit for narrow nose, we can also provide you with a polygon holder that allow you to do an extension. Right?
So once you've done all the roughing over here with all of the multi-locks and the OD turning and the slim chucks,
Yeah.
you then need to finish on with a ball nose or with some special little form tool,
Yeah.
get a beautiful finish on your big fat component with a lot of reach.
A lot of reach in the various option you have here. We got C4, C5, C6, C8, depend on the capacity of the machine.
And one of the things with these, can you get through tool coolant right through the center of the...
Absolutely, and you have two ways of connecting the extension. You got a standard connection, which is using the screw in the back to draw in this type of holder, and then you got what we call a quick chain connection, to where you can put this in, right, and then use a quick lock to pull it in.
And quick lock is just a little like a half turn or a quarter
Like
turn.
a half turn, and sometimes because they have a coolant tube here already, so it interfere with putting a screw to here. So having this quick lock, a side quick lock, is much easier to change out this connection without removing this whole tool.
And that really helps with changeover times when you're doing normally big one-offs with big complex components that might take 30 hours.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're showing you a little bit of a smaller stuff, but gosh, these things can go as high as 30 inches. You know, the polygon connection is a very rigid connection, right? It gives you that dampening characteristic on a long tool, and it's modular, really. You can build as long as you need it for.
And it's fantastic that people who would have standard milling machines and they have a mill turn and would not have been able to previously have Lindex-Nikken products can now use the same great products they know on their mill turn machines.
Absolutely. You know, this is why this is a new product, right? Because we have always, in the last 50 years, focused on ISO taper, HSK taper. Our customer coming to us and say, listen, I have SK taper, I have SK on the ISO taper, I'm buying a new mill turn, I want SK.
Okay, so if you've just got a mill turn, you can now get Lindex-Nikken, the same great Lindex-Nikken products on those machines.
Yes.
And let's move on. We're going to do a little segue from big long reach products. This is obviously a big long reach modular product, but if you want a single piece long reach product, you've then got to move to, normally it's a shrink system.
Yes, shrink machine and system have been around for over 20-something years, right? So we understand who needs these type of tool holder, the aerospace folks, the folks that needs clearance, OD clearance, and so far, what have you. The trick here now is the machine, right? If you invest heavily into a shrink equipment, you want to make sure the machine is up and running so that anytime you need to remove a tool, you're not being stuck. And then all the feature and benefit of this machine is critical in your manufacturing process. Let me give you some example, if I may, right? So if you ask me a simple question, what makes you different from everybody else? Our machine doesn't require an input of end mill size.
And that's why there's no screen here, it's just a single pendant with a few buttons.
Exactly. Whereas many people, you have to set the diameter. Now, I don't know if you have any kid or not. I have kid. If they put a popcorn into a microwave and they put 10 minutes, that's going to smell terrible, right? It's the same thing with the shrink fit. If someone going to half inch and they leave the whole thing at 1.5 inches, it's going to overcook the holder. Our machine auto-detect the diameter. That's the number one. Auto-detect. So you can never overheat the holder.
And that helps when you've got engineers who have to run so many different bits of complex engineering equipment. They have to worry about making the component. They don't have to worry about messing with a complex screen here when they're just trying to get a tool back in the machine.
No one remembered to set the diameter. They set it as high as they can because that's going to work for any size underneath that. But what they do enhancingly is they're overcooking that material, annealing it, right? So now it loses elasticity property, right? That's number one. Number two, when it comes to servicing these, it becomes an issue because people have transformer. It's very cumbersome to ship it back. For us, you remove 2 screws, take out the motherboard, we loan you another one while we do a diagnostic of what's wrong with yours. So the turnaround is a matter of UPS red.
I love that. So it's simple to use,
Yes.
even so simple, almost your kids could use it. I hope no one's got kids on the machine shop floor right now. Hopefully they're just learning at school right now.
Right.
But what I find fascinating as well is some people might consider heat shrink tooling to be almost like consumable, almost a throwaway item.
Yeah.
What do you think of that approach?
Well, that's because they have machine that cook it, overcook it, and then it becomes a throwaway.
And I'm going to start to use the phrase overcooked now.
Right? So really, the idea is the holder should have at least 5,000 cycle capability, properly used, properly maintained.
That's the big caveat. That's the asterisk.
Right. If you are any shorter than that, you're doing something wrong. Give us a call. Let us look at what you got operationally going on. We'll give you a good suggestion. Now, here's one more point, if I may, to show you.
Tom, you're interviewing me now.
Okay.
You're leading the conversation.
Right. So when you drop the end mill into here, to take it out, you have to take the end mill and grab it. Now, if the end mill break flush to the surface, well, what do you got to grab this thing with?
While it's hot, do you have to turn it upside down? Or?
Well, you probably throw it away. Our machine has this capability of turning this thing upside down.
Oh, so you can then put the tool holder in upside down, and then it'll just drop straight out.
Heat it up and let the gravity pull the carbide out.
I love that.
Oh, I tell you what, when I did a demo at a customer, first thing he said, "Oh, stop. Let me bring you 3 or 4 of my holder that has broken end mill. Can you just get it out for me for now?" I said, "No, sir, buy the machine, please."
Yeah, you need to drive around one of these in the back of your van offering a service now, Tom.
There you go, right? So when it's $200, $300 one of these and you scrap it, the money you make up is quite quickly, right? You scrap 10 holder, that's $3,000. There go your justification for buying a quality machine.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I guess this is a comment on a bit of a wider point of, in society, things are disposable, things are throwaway. This machine is you're trying to make steps to making sure that whatever, all the time and the cost and the material value and the engineering value that's gone into this is not wasted and reused as much as possible.
You know, when you're a shop owner, every dollar counts. If you look at waste as a way to save money, you'd be amazed how much a shop goes through waste because of improper usage. If we can cut that off and help them save that money and then go over to productivity and then make them money, people always talking about saving, right? Well, who's going to make him the money, right? So we do both. We make you the money and we also save you the money.
Exactly. It's great that you're not just about making people buy, or asking people to buy more and more capital equipment where there might be stuff that's still on the shop floor that they should be using and making more use of by making a smaller capital investment and unlocking that extra capacity that was already there in the first place.
Right. When you're a small shop owner, right, you're paying your bill and you want to be able to hold on to everything and make it last as long as you can, right? ROI are based on time. Just as any investment is, it's based on time. So durability give you a better chance to do an ROI on any piece of equipment you purchase, okay? And the ability to not scrap is huge, whether it's a parts or something like this.
Absolutely, and thank you. I love talking about the high level, what this means for machine shop owners. Yes. We've got a technical question now, though. I'm not sure if you're on it, Tom, but we've been asked how accurate is the auto detect?
Well, you know, when it's using our holders, now the answer is you could use someone else's holder and still auto detect. But if you use our holder, you can definitely auto detect, and within 2.5 seconds, you can take the tool out. So it's quite accurate.
And you imagine how long it takes to go into one of the other machines with the screen. You have to choose the diameter, change the plug, change the little thing over. Yeah. It takes a much longer time.
Oh, Rowan, take a look at this. You see the foot pedal here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So now we even have a foot pedal to where you don't even have to touch this. Look, you know, heat is a problem, right? Anytime you use something that heat, you don't want to touch it. Absolutely. Right? So when you set this thing up and then you drop this down and you put it, you just have to touch the foot pedal. Yeah. And then the whole thing will drop and everything will work just fine.
I love it. It's not just simple, no maintenance and making sure you make the most out of your holders. It's operator safety as well.
Yes. Yeah, because no one a lot of feedback on shrink is, well, my operator doesn't want to touch heat, and rightfully so. Right? So we are always constantly finding way for the usage of this kind of equipment to be much friendlier with the user.
Absolutely. Let's go on. Right, Tom, I've got to take you over. You're going to be talking to one of my friends, Tony Gunn, about quick changing. Guys, we are live. Ask some questions if you're interested in the stream. If you like Lindex-Nikken, if you use their products or you're interested, ask some questions now. I'm going to hand you over to my friend, Tony Gunn.
Tom, how are you, my friend?
I am well. I'm well, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to have you guys here.
You are handling the heck out of this booth. Can I get you a bottle of water or something?
No, I'm doing fine.
Excellent.
The adrenaline's already making me less thirsty. How's that?
And that's how when people say, how do you have so much energy? It's that adrenaline rush, isn't it?
Well, I got kid in college. That's where the energy come in, right?
I love it, Tom. All right, let's move into the technology itself. We're talking quick change. And what is the secret sauce, the secret to your success? Why are these sold massively all over the place?
Well, you know, the traditional way of holding a round part has been on a 3-jaw scroll chuck. And in able to change the diameter of the part, you have to machine out the jaw. And then hence you have a lot of jaw laying around, and it takes a long time. So everyone have moved over to a collet system called quick change. So we're not the only one in this game, right? There's quite a bit of player in this game. But if you ask me for one single design that we think that help us stand out, is the modularity of our system. But why modular is important? Well, when one of these chucks get assembled into the machine, it's heavy. And as the operator have to lift this whole thing and trying to mount it into the spindle nose, either he hurt himself or he damaged the surface. So by doing modular, you gain two things. You can lighten the assembly by doing one at a time, indicating the base, and then put on the body. That's lighten up the load, safety measure. But more importantly is you can buy one base, change out for different collet, or you can buy one collet and bring it to a different machine by changing the base.
And a lot of us are talking about productivity right now. And if I remember correctly from my back in the day, 20 years ago machining, I had collets laying around everywhere. I had to take them out, loosen up the back end of my turning center, put them back in, check the tightness. Sometimes I had something fall out. Sometimes I had it too tight. Yep. All of this makes that productivity just really increase because you can pop it in and it's within a few microns within tolerance. And it's just quick, 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 quick. And we're keeping everything moving at this point. That's part of it as well, isn't it?
Time is money.
Time is money.
Time is money. And the ability for you to do a quick changeover. You know, the years ago, the vendor have shifted the responsibility of manufacturing over to their vendor, right? So you have lean manufacturing. So everybody's scrambling. What kills the shop profitability is the setup time, right? I can do 50 pieces, but by the time I set it up, I lost all my money in that 50 pieces. So if you can do a quick setup and get the demand of your customer satisfied, not only you making profit, but your customer is happy with your performance, your turnaround time. And that's how you win customer. It's the same way I'm trying to win the customer, yeah?
You know, Tom, I see that smile on your face. Tom was smiling already. Don't get me wrong for everyone who's watching right now because he loves his product. But when Tom started talking about making his customer happy, that thing just started to glow. So it's very obvious to me that all of this around the booth, this technology, it brings you joy when you get that feedback from your customers. And that's why you back a product that you know supports them as well. Tell us a little bit about how that makes you feel with the customers.
Tony, I started in this industry when I was 17 years old.
Aren't you just about 18, 19 right now?
So it was about a year and a half ago. Very inexperienced in this industry, right? I started when I was 17. I'm 57, right? So I have an opportunity to be a salesperson, a manager, a national manager, and now vice president. So I have experienced a tremendous amount of growth with our customer. And when I come to a customer, I want him to know that I can lockstep his growth. You don't want to carry a customer to a short period of time, and then when he's starting to grow, you say, well, sir, I don't have that product for you, right? I want that customer to know that once we shake hands and we build that relationship, whether he invests in the mill, whether he invests in the lathe, that we're going to be there for them. And we're going to be there a little bit more different than what the market can give him, right?
I know we stepped a little bit away from the technology right there, but when I saw that smile, I just knew we had to talk about that a little bit. So let's move back into the technology and step over here a little bit. We're talking about boring heads over here. We'll take a quick moment to do this before we hand you over to my buddy Joe over there to talk about live tooling for those of you who are ready for that. But let's talk boring heads, some of the details of this, and where the customers can benefit, because there's a bunch of them here, and I don't know if we can talk about them all in about a minute's time, but let's try to do our best to let the customers know how this is going to be beneficial.
Well, for that 1 minute, I'll tell you something about hole making, right? So now we have, earlier segment, we talked about presetting. So with presetting is really falling to the hole making technology. So if I have to capture this thing in a very short amount of time, we have anything combination of roughing and finishing. Roughing is easy, because there's no tolerance to it. But finishing is the key, right? So because we have two characteristics that can help someone do a finished board to the finish they want, the first one being the fact that we have a holder that's called Major Dream. It has a built-in dampener so that it absorbs the harmonic. and allow you to do a deep hole boring with a fine finish. Okay? And then the number 2, where we have a genuine support right here. Most boring in the finish had the cartridge float down the air. We have this patented technology where the ground surface is directly supporting that insert. So those are the 2 main things about our finishing board that you can see it right now.
I like that. That is a really great summary. I like that you said patented. Let's talk about real quickly. I'm getting ready to give this over to Joe. I know Joe's getting ready to talk to you as well, but I want to talk about harmonics. That harmonic is really what affects that vibration. That it's obviously a synonym for the vibration, the harmonics, but that creates a chatter in the part, the shorter lifespan of the tools themselves. So all of this in time, and the longer we go, when we look at some of these let's say long and thin ones even versus these thicker ones, that's where it comes into play. So if you can go long and thin at the same time, that's where the trickery comes in that you figured out through this play of harmonics, right?
Yes, absolutely. You know, you have two situations. Sometimes you have a very long, and you got to hold that tolerance from the beginning to the end. And the other thing is you might have an interruption in between that process, right? So the boring head is quite a demanding job in the finishing process. So having that harmonic, just another, how do I say, advantage to your pocket, right? In your pocket to finishing this part with a great finish. So if anyone ever done finishing board, they'll know how important it is to absorb that harmonic, especially when you're 10 times, 20 times the D, the diameter of the board. Yeah.
Oh, that is the absolute truth. I hope everyone's learned a bit more about this. If you have questions or ideas or thoughts, or just want to thank Tom for all these great lessons that we're all learning, please continue to send those comments in. With that being said, I'm going to walk Tom over to my buddy Joe. We're going to talk a little bit about live tooling, another one of my favorite topics. So with that being said, Joe, take it away, bro.
You again. Doing the job. You're making this look bad. You're a professional.
Joe, here's the problem. When it comes to the volunteer time of doing this, everyone stepped back while I was texting. So somehow I end up doing the whole thing.
You're a professional, so let's keep it up. So far we've talked a lot about rotary tools for milling machines, we've talked automation, we've talked presetting, we've talked boring heads. Now I want to concentrate on driven tools for a CNC lathe. So talk us through this, please.
Well, simply put, okay, live tooling have been around for a very, very long time. And baseline products are straight tool and 90 tool, some multiple output. That's the easy stuff. We have all that for different type of machine, the Akuma, the Mori, and the BMT style for the Doosan. So we make the standard stuff. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what the new product come to us look like. Well, today with the machine demanding the complexity of the part, people are getting more and more double turret, triple turret, upper turret, lower turret, right? And so what ends up happening is setting up those turret can be very time consuming and even more dangerous. So what people does is they buy tool holders that have a quick disconnect capability, like a polygon quick disconnect, as you can see here. Can I show you a little bit about that?
Please do, please do.
So here you have a quick disconnect polygon system. There you go. It's as quickly as that. So you can fill this whole turret with quick disconnect, take this tool on a offset element somewhere, measure everything you need, touch up, load it in, and you're ready to run. So this is how quickly you can change over all your job by just changing out the quick chain tooling.
So there's a number of advantages there, isn't there? We're talking about repeatability, we're talking about accuracy because we can measure it offline. Of course, more spindle uptime, more money, and there's also a health and safety element, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Think about that. If you have a collet like this and you have to stick your hand into a double upper turret with all the end mills sticking around and you got to wrench the whole thing out, you don't want to do that. This is a one-hand operation, and we're talking about repeatability. We all know what a polygon taper is, right? With the triangular contact, face and taper contact, you can't get better repeatedly than this type of connection.
Absolutely. So that is, we're talking Capto. Talk us about some of these other products briefly.
That's how quickly you can turn that, right? Yes. And so now, earlier segment, we talked about the polygon taper for mill turn machine. This is focusing on for the turning only specifically. So we have here some tooling block for the polygon. We have here some OD turning, and we have here quite a bit of different option. Now, one unique thing I might show you is while this is a quick disconnect system, so it's a little bit different from your OD, where there is no flange for tool changer. We make this right up to the point so that it's shorter and it's built for quick change.
Fantastic. And just finally, I looked at this earlier, and it's excited me somewhat. Industry 4 elements. So can you briefly again talk us through this, please?
Yes. So Industry 4.0, right? 3.0 is when the computer, we're using computer to tell the machine tool what to do. In the 4.0, the machine now, the device now has sensor that can truly feed back to us its health status, right? We all heard about preventive maintenance. And so many times by the time we receive a tool back to us, well, the preventive maintenance failed because of the extreme condition. And then now the production is interrupted. With the 4.0, the equipment you can monitor the equipment at any interval you want, whether that's 15 minutes at a time, or maybe by the end of the day, you can check the health of your equipment and not have to worry about a downtime on a critical piece of tool.
Tom, fantastic. Well done. We're going to head over to Rowan, who's got some closing remarks.
How are you, my friend? You know, I wasn't even supposed to do this part of the segment, but I like you so much, and I wanted to thank you for everything that we've done, that I wanted to personally escort you over to Rowan so that you could have your closing statement, but I didn't want you to walk alone, and I think it's important for you to know how much we've enjoyed ourselves on your booth as well.
I love you guys. I have a lot of fun, actually. I talk so darn much, and I'm passionate about my booth, so I'm getting what I needed, right?
With that being said, here's Rowan with your closing statement. Enjoy yourself, my friend.
Thank you, Tony. We've now got the now famous Tom, VP of Lyndex-Nikken here with us. Thank you very much for your time today, Tom. Is there anything you'd like to say, any closing words you'd like to let to know your current customers and maybe any potential new customers that have absolutely loved what they've seen today?
Well, you know, let me start with this, if I may. I want to first thank all of the Lyndex-Nikken customer. We wouldn't be here without you. And the show to us is an opportunity to meet our customer and really let them tell us our performance throughout the year. That's what the show is about for us. And then on top of that, of course, the opportunity to meet new customer and meet new challenge. That's why we have quite a bit of productivity. If you you have an opportunity, the last 2 days have been just crazy. Come down, take a look at the booth, come down and see what the new technology we have. You can visit us on www.Lyndex-Nikken.com. There's a probably a wider way of getting in touch with us, but more importantly, come on down and talk to us, right?
Yeah, you got that. Come on down to the IMTS 2022 booth. We're here in the West Building, Lyndex-Nikken. As soon as you walk in, you cannot miss the stand. They've got loads of new products. We revealed them all today. I hope you absolutely love those. They've got shrinking, presetting. They've got rotary tables, they've got a fantastic history of rotary tables, and the best tooling you can get. So make sure you come down to Lyndex-Nikken booth. Come and check it out. Tom, I mean, if you're going to pick out one thing people were going to come and see and go, oh my God, I had no idea you guys could do that, what would it be?
I didn't know you have a guy named Tom Dang who can talk so much.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got a guy called Tony God who can talk so much, so there must be one in every company, right?
Thank you. Yes, there is one in every company. But if you have to come down, take a look at, I don't know if I can really pick one. That's the thing. I mean, we built this booth so that at any cycle of your business, you can come down and see us. Whether you're in productivity, you're in efficiency, come down and see us. But yes, I do have one, automation. That's the future of our industry. So come down and see what we can offer in terms of job shop automation. Yeah? And that's all we can do for you.
Brilliant.